Hello, pickle people. We are back. This is This a Pickleball podcast? I'm your host, Matthew K. Pickleball. I am joined today by my co-host, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson, how are you today?
Hey Matt. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Ooh, I'm pretty good. You know what? I'm excited to just get right into it because
Let's do
people skip
this.
away fast. So, right up top, if you're listening to this, hit that subscribe button, leave us a like, and then we'll be chatting about a lot of different things today. So, comment your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you. And then, before we move into our big section, which I think folks are going to be excited about because it's all paddle talk today. I did want to remind folks on the Matthew K. Pickleball channel, we are heavy in the giveaways. If you check out my recent post tabs on the YouTube section, you'll see that we just handed out, I don't know, Wilson, it could have been 4 or 5 paddles. I got
Yeah,
behind
you
running
just
the
back to
raffles.
back. You just
Boom,
raffled
boom,
them
boom.
off.
Yeah, and so people are excited. People have some good paddles coming their way. There's one from Standout. There's the Franklin C45. Some from Kiwi Labs. But if you missed out on winning one of those, you can still have a shot at getting a free paddle. We've got a raffle for a Honolulu J4K, so the famous pizza peel paddle. I'm sure Wilson. I don't remember seeing your comment. You better enter that one. You could use the extra paddle face.
Wait, are you saying that I can enter? You don't think it's
Yes, you
conflict
can
of
enter.
interest or anything?
I mean I run the raffles randomly. Like I
Yeah, and
mean
then
you.
people are gonna be like that. This is rigged.
All right, well don't enter. It's up to
I
you.
haven't because of that, but since you're saying that it's okay, I might just have to throw my name in there.
All right. Yeah. I mean, folks, let me know down in the comments. Should Wilson be eligible? Like, there's no stipulation that he can't be, but his moral compass, I guess, has dissuaded him from entering. But Wilson, I've won a giveaway a long, long time ago. I won a giveaway on Pickleball Pursuits channel.
Nice. What did
So
you win?
you know what? It's gonna tie into our conversation later, to
Okay.
be honest. So I'll
Okay.
leave it at that. It's
I
a
won one
small
too as
brand.
well though. So yeah.
Ooh, who'd you win one from?
I won QDef's giveaway. I got
Right,
I think the Viva Pro Gen 2. Yeah, the
right. But
gray
you won it
one.
because they sometimes leave those cards in the thing where you can win a
Uh
paddle that way, right?
no, this one was just comment on their Facebook thing and
Oh,
then
nice.
you
Very
enter it through
cool.
their website or something like that.
All
Yeah, so that I
right.
was happy about that. That was cool.
All right, folks. So if you want to get in on this winning giveaway action, check out the J4K video. You can also win one of the very, very in demand next gen paddles from Honolulu in that video. And then I'm not sure if this will go live before my review video, but I'm actually giving away one of the new PaddleTekGTOC paddles. And Wilson,
Mm.
Carbon is finally letting me give away a paddle. We will be giving a Carbon TruFoam Genesis 4 away on the channel. So make sure you're subscribed, hit the like button, and go to all the different reviews and see if you can win something. But that brings us, Wilson,
Hmm.
to the big. We're playing catch up. We got behind on posting, and we got a lot of paddles to talk about.
What's new,
So
Matt? You're always behind.
what's new? That's I know, Wilson. Wow, geez, you're that commenter. You must have a ghost account anyway, or a hidden account. But yes, we are gonna jump right into things. What are we testing right now? This segment is presented by our friends over at SwiftNet. If you're on the hunt for a portable pickleball net, check them out. They've got the best net you can find. It's made out of recycled aerospace material, carbon fiber, and it's easy to set up. And it's the net that Wilson and I use all the time. And so I'll kick things off. Yeah, I told you we'll be giving one of these away on the channel. That's right. But this review, I've written the script. I've recorded the video and I am just doing the edit right now. It should be going up very, very soon. And yeah, like these paddles, said it already, really fun paddles. Super stoked that PaddleTek embraced the hybrid. As you know, that's my preferred shape. And yeah, I've already talked about these paddles on the pod, but definitely play around with the flick weight. If you like to be a little windshield wiper at the kitchen, these paddles are perfect for that. In fact, Pickleball Effect now has his own version of handle weight, so lots of options. And these are great for people that want to have a lot of pop off their paddle, but want a more traditional launch angle compared to some of these poppy foam paddles that we're going to be talking about. And so really enjoy these. Check the review out. And yeah, that's just a little tease, because what we're really going to talk about in a moment, after I talk about this one, which is the other review that's coming out and the giveaway. This one actually is on sale now. This is the CRBN TruFoam Genesis 4. And coming back to launch angle, I think the big thing, I think the paddle everyone's going to compare this to is the Honolulu Notch Foam. And these paddles are both foam core paddles, but there are some pretty substantial differences that affect how they feel in particular. And I've been thinking a lot, Wilson, after all the Honolulu NF and FC Plus controversy, all the hot water I got myself into, describing my experience playing with those paddles, and then bringing you in to be a champion for my cause. But I've been thinking a lot about touch and feel and pop. And I think more than anything, what I am going to just describe from my personal experience is maybe launch angle. And launch angle is, for anyone that doesn't know, is like how the ball, what angle it launches off the paddle face. And so that affects a lot of different things. And just for reference, I do hold my paddle for the most part in continental, although I have been getting a little loose because I have been changing my grip setup, and so I do need to concentrate on that. But that's sort of important to know, especially on launch angle. You should probably know what your grip position is, or the reviewer's grip position that you're listening to their take on. But I'm mostly in continental, and I do probably more flat hits than a lot of other reviewers, because I do focus on dinking and positioning, and so not as much on driving. I try to get to the kitchen and play my game there. A lot of other folks do the driving game, which you need to do a lot of top spin to get that drive power to keep it in, and so less flat hits. And so, as we talked about last pod, a lot of my, where I measure the nuance of a paddle is up at the kitchen. And so for me, compared to the Honolulu Notch Foam, I think the Genesis 4, which is also a hybrid, has a higher launch angle out of the box. And I think that has probably a lot to do with the fact that Honolulu's NF paddle utilizes fiberglass in the middle of its carbon fiber layers, whereas the TruFoam, if I understand how they're doing the layup, they have a patch of fiberglass underneath the CF closer to the core. And it kind of reminds me, that design, that idea of it being just a little patch, which means, you gotta be hitting center, because if you're hitting the edge of a piece of fiberglass, you're probably not going to get the best contact. It reminds me a lot of how the Huda Viva Pro Gen 3 paddle played, which was not a Generation 3 paddle, but was a Gen 2 paddle. It came out eons ago in the terms of pickleball years, but it use something called a strengthening plate. And I'm not certain if it was fiberglass. I have an inkling that it was, but I can't remember if I ever asked Huda for got confirmation. But it had a piece of rectangular material in the center. And I always thought that paddle, and when I tested that paddle and reviewed that paddle, I'll leave a link here. Like, that is a very good paddle in my opinion, especially for a Gen 2 paddle. But that had a lot of pop for me, especially back then. And I think having it closer to the core, that whatever that strengthening plate, or in this case fiberglass, I definitely think impacts how the ball jumps off the face. And so my big takeaway is the Genesis 4 has a higher launch angle than the Honolulu NF. And so I think the Honolulu NF is easier for flat hitters that really like to go under the ball. So people that like to slow things down, people that like to do drops, people that focus on dinking. And then I think the Genesis 4 is probably best for like aggressive players that really like to volley and aren't really going under the ball too much. And for me to get this, to customize this paddle to the way I liked it, and we just played a few games on this. You saw me. I wasn't terrible. I mean, we had some rough court conditions and we lost some games I think we should have won. But I did add some tungsten. This is probably Bodhi's tungsten down on the bottom corners, and that sort of helps me deal with that higher launch angle. But yeah, very good paddle. Reviews coming out. And Wilson, I saw your mouth open.
I just wanted to talk a quick snippet about launch angle and stuff like that. For some people, when you say launch angle, this is coming from my new hobby of golf.
Sure.
That is really just like the angle of the face. So one of my previous tips was that you got to pay attention to how your paddle is faced. The face of the paddle will direct the ball to where it is facing, and your swing will spin the ball. So if you ever if other people have issues with their launch angle or pop-ups or stuff, they may have to think about where, or record themselves and see where, when they get pop-ups, what is the angle of their paddle face. They may be open, it may be popped up, it may be open up towards the sky, and that may cause a pop-up. So yeah, just when people are playing and they feel like they're getting pop-ups and stuff, try to take note of how the paddle faces, where the paddle face is directed towards. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think I might be using the wrong term then.
It's all right. We'll get it down. Yeah.
But what I'm trying to communicate, and I've seen Pickleball Effect describe this well, and so this is another thing about like how terms can mean one thing in one situation and something else in another. And so I guess it's helpful to always define it. But what I am actually talking about, because what I'm describing is I'm holding my paddle face in the same position. But for this paddle, the ball is launching at a higher angle, with all things the same than it is on the notch foam from Honolulu. And so maybe launch angle is not the right descriptor, but this is sort of something that we were talking about last podcast, which was it's because the ball is holding on to the paddle head, which is a combination of the core and the layup, for different amounts of time. It is, and then sometimes like having a propulsion off, it's launching off the paddle head at a different timing. So like for the NF, I might be here, or for this one, I might be slightly moved just because of how long the ball lives on the paddle face and then how much it speeds off. And so I'm not trying to use the word pop because people have their own forms of that, and that was the mess I got with the FC Plus. And so what I notice between these two paddles is between the Honolulu NF, which is seemingly very similar to the CRBN TruFoam 4, CRBN TruFoam Genesis 4, is this paddle, all things the same, and I'm coming mostly continental, and I just described all my specific kind of play characteristics, results in a ball that has a higher angle of trajectory, all things equal, off the face, whereas the NF sits a little lower. And that might not be launch angle. We need to figure that out, because I think that's going to become a more and more important descriptor, I've noticed, in particular with foam paddles. And so, yeah, folks, I know there are a few of you that like to tell me, correct me on everything. So, what are we talking about here? It might not be launch angle. I'm talking about the ball coming off the paddle and at different orientations, angle orientations. So I won't say launch, but I wonder in golf, the different clubs, irons. So the launch angle, is orienting the Is it talking about the angle of the club, or how the ball is coming off the club?
Well, it should come hand in hand. Basically, the angle of the club determines the angle of the
Okay.
the
So
the ball.
I think maybe in
Yeah.
pickleball, because I really don't think what I've been seeing is going to be just a description of how you're orienting the paddle face.
Mm.
I have a feeling launch angle is a combination of your paddle face orientation as well as how it dwells on the paddle. And so I think in pickleball, probably launch angle is denoting how the ball is launching off the face, and is not strictly informed 100% by the angle of the face, is my guess.
Got
Because it's, these are different kinds of materials in a golf club. So
Definitely.
the dwell is definitely different, I would imagine. I don't imagine, I know the dwell would be different. And so I think the launch angle is a combination of what you're talking about, but then the materials are definitely a factor. And I think it must be in pickleball, the launch angle, we're describing the ball, the angle of launch off the paddle face. And you would kind of measure that, I think, probably how it's oriented with a pickleball net more than anything. So definitely, I think your paddle face orientation is related 100%. But I think some paddles, all things equal with your paddle orientation, are launching balls at different angles. And so I definitely think what you're saying is a factor. And so, I think, and so, but I think this one, basically, compared to the Honolulu NF, you'll see the ball go off the face at a steeper trajectory, is what I think. And so, great. Wilson, I think you just got me in some hot water. There are going to be some commenters.
There you go.
Hey, guys. Hey, guys, on this podcast, my co-host, he doesn't mind. He doesn't mind saying, "Shut up, Matthew. You don't know what you're talking about." You see how polite he was, though? You see how polite? Well, I think definitely what you said is part of it.
What's next?
What's next? All right. I think this is what everyone wants to hear about. These are the new Gearbox Pro paddles, the Gearbox GX2Power. And guys, and the one gal that listens to this podcast, both Wilson and I had a chance yesterday. I actually just got these yesterday. And we went out to the courts and we got a few hits in on these. And so we've got some first impressions.
You got a few games in them. with them.
We got I played some few games. But yeah, I wanted to, before we talk about how they play, so this, like, I was a little confused when I first started seeing these, like, because this looks just like the other GX2 paddles. But these are the GX2 Power, and they have the elongated shape and the hybrid shape, and their hybrid is kind of like very standard facey. But these are a change from the previous GX2 paddles, and it seems, from what I can tell, there are some changes, but the biggest thing is it's got what they're describing, they call it the Power Booster Pad. And I actually have this little, they sent me this nifty little diagram, which, nice to have that little visual aid. And then it looks to me, I tried to look into this, but I couldn't exactly confirm if that outer ring is, and what that material is, if it's EVA or if it's another kind of foam. I don't have that info yet. I'm not sure if that info is available. But regardless, this paddle, the difference between this and the previous versions is this is a floating core now. So something we've seen with Gen 3 builds, except it's using, you know, Gearbox's crazy like carbon fiber rib core structure. And that floating core, as we know from Gen 3 builds, that thing creates power. And so what do you think, Wilson? You hit with these.
I really like them. They are definitely more powerful than the GX2s. I got to play with the GX2s for a little bit, but these powers are really nice. They also sound different. They definitely sound like Gen 3s, right? But with probably much better gearbox technology. I feel like it's one of the more powerful paddles I've used, yet they did not feel overly powerful. Like, for example, the Vatic V-Core that I've been playing with, the original version of the
The
V-Cores.
now discontinued, yeah.
Yes. So these are a great balance. I would say these probably give the Yola Pro 4s the run for their money. Especially, yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely, so I played with a lot of gearboxes earlier, like old power paddles, the original PPE, which you'd see that everywhere.
Hmm.
And then of course that one went through all of its USAP issues, and then they created the Gearbox Ultimate, which was like a thicker edgeless paddle, and I wasn't a super big fan of that one because it just felt very heavy in the hands. And I just, it wasn't for me. But everyone liked the powers of the gearboxes. But then, you know, USAP did all these things. And then I think Gearbox definitely has been experimenting. I think them embracing, you know, the edge guard, embracing a more traditional face, has definitely was a smart move. I think taking their unique tech and folding it into some traditional tech. I think my first impression, and I said this in our little channels on Instagram, and folks, if you want to get inside of Wilson and mine's head, it's a scary place, but we have a little channel thing on Instagram where we're always talking and you can follow along. But I was saying in that channel, or that little group, I was very impressed by the power of these, but the thing, everyone knows this, I'm not like a power paddle lover in general. And what I really appreciate about these is they had very good touch and feel. I do hope they'll one day explore a more traditional hybrid shape. But I was just very impressed how you could access the power but still have a good soft game. Which I would say the old gearboxes of the yesteryear had that. Like if you wanted to play soft with those, you could. And so I'm glad they figured out a formula to achieve that again in something that will definitely be competitive with all the new paddles coming out. And I will say this little guy here surprised me with the amount of juice that it has, which no, I feel most people with the old power lines always stuck with the elongated. It was very hard to see. It wasn't very common to see what they called the Integra back then. But this shape, I guess it might be different than the Integra. I'd
Well,
have to.
yeah, so this one is slightly wider, like an actual hybrid. The Integra, the problem with that one
Integra.
was that it was a short, think of it elongated, but it was just the top was chopped off.
Got it. That's
So
right. You're
it,
right. You're
it
right.
didn't give it any more width. So people wanted a hybrid for more width for a larger sweet spot.
Right. And so you'll
So
see. You can't
yeah,
see it too well on camera, but there is a little overhang. It appears. And so yeah, they widen it out, and so I wouldn't ignore this one. I think with the old power lines, folks ignored the shorter one, and I think they did some more changes that make them
yeah.
both very viable options. And so yeah, I think I'm gonna try to get that review going.
I'm excited to see
But
what the durability is with the gearbox technology because they have the Gen 3 power. I just want to hope, let's hope they don't have the Gen 3 durability, right?
yeah, I mean they're not using honeycomb, so I
Yeah,
feel
that's true.
I feel there's definitely like obviously there's more. I don't know if there's a gap between their SST core and that ring that we were just talking about, but they don't have to worry about crushed core cells. And so, yeah, I'm hoping they'll have the same durability. I think they're doing the same warranty as they have with all the others, which I think is a full year. So I think, but check that to be 100% sure if you're listening. But yeah, I have a feeling. Um, yeah, I mean they're really like that's their thing. They want durable paddles, and the fact that they waited so long, I'm if I was a betting man, I'd put my money on it's going to be durable. And what's cool about Gearbox, they're finally doing promo codes. Promo code Matthew K does work with these, and I've been told they're on pre-sale right now, but apparently they're selling really well. And so, yeah, go check them out. But that's not all we got. What else came out this past week, Mr. Wilson? I think you got something. Is it? Is it? Did you
Ah,
just find it out of the woods?
yes. The Wild Thing just launched this week. I think it was 23rd
Whoa, whoa,
today.
whoa, Wilson, 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 Wilson,
What happened?
Wilson. That's not the wild thing. That's the
Wild
wild
Thing. I'm
thing.
sorry. Yes, the Wild
Thing.
Thing.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. So this is a pretty neat paddle. I really liked it. I got to. I've tried the Filth. I've tried the Shogun, and now I've tried their newest and latest elongated paddle, the Wild Thing. I think this has the best of both worlds. It has the power and power of the Filth, but it has the control of the Shogun. So for people who felt that the Shogun was slightly lacking power and maybe a little too soft, this you might want to give this a try. It's not just all looks. I mean, I love this whole blacked out thing they're doing, the more you hit in the center and the more ball dust there is, the more the wild thing pops, and I kind of like that. That's kind of cool. But yeah, it actually feels lighter than the Shogun. And I mean, the only complaint I would have about this paddle is really the grip. Same with the Shogun. It's a little thick. It's like 4.3 inch in diameter. I mean, I already thought 4 1/4 was already a little thick, but these are 4.3. Just note that. It's noted on the website. The Shogun is also the same.
Embrace the girth.
Yeah,
Be
it's not
be
bad. I
happy.
think I think when I play with this, I'm not going to be adding my usual Hessa cord to this. I'll just play it as is, just because it is thick. But I mean, other than that, if you're okay with that, if you have normal sized hands or even large hands, this 4.3-inch diameter grip is fine. But yeah, this is actually not bad. I really like it. How
And
did
what do
you
you
like
think?
yours?
Well, I gave you mine, so I only
That's
just
true. This
got
is
mine. But how do you like? You were testing out Bread and Butter's new Overgrips because they changed their
Oh,
formula. What
yeah,
did you think of
this is
them?
actually the bread and butter overgrip. I like it. So it's definitely not the it's more of a dry and not as tacky as some other grips. I don't know which ones you've been using, Matt, but
Uh,
yours are extra tacky on some
yeah,
of your
mine are.
paddles.
I'm super tacky. I think
Yeah.
that's not a dry grip. It's comfort grip.
Comfort.
Um,
Yes, I like that
yeah,
one.
because the dry, like if you say dry, like those are the sandpaper grips, like gearboxes grips, like over grips.
Like
I don't
Torna,
think
is Torna the blue ones? Are those considered dry? I don't know.
no the Turn and
Yeah. Oh,
Turn and
that's tacky.
Megatack are
Yeah.
tacky, and then gearboxes are closer to like Bodhi's and because I've
Hmm.
actually familiar with that grip from
Got it.
another company because they use the same manufacturer. And so their comfort with some tack is how I would describe it.
I like it. But one thing to note though, the bread and butter, the packaging is so good that they have film on both sides of the grip. That was actually really new to me. I grew up using Yonex Super Grab and Wilson Pro grips, and they only have film on one side, like most grips, over grips. But this, remember, if you guys do try it out, remove the film on both sides of the grip.
Yeah. I've also learned that lesson. A lot of pickleball focused grip brands put film on both sides, which is great because it's keeping the tack like
Yeah.
longer shelf life. But yeah, if you forget to take that back film off, you'll get an
Hmm.
overgrip that slides, and
Hmm.
then it'll also get creased, and then it'll be
Yeah.
hard to reapply. I do know some people keep that on and do a
Well,
tight wrap, and then when their grip gets dirty and dies, they flip it over. I don't
uh,
suggest that. I think it's hard to do, but I have seen someone at Open Play preach about that long, long time ago.
have you ever tried that? I don't think I can. Um,
I can't even. I've literally like put on a new grip and
mm,
messed it up and played with it a little bit and tried to regrip it. And once I get the creases, like it's
mm.
hard for me. I wouldn't ever try that. It would be such a. I know it wouldn't work for me.
Yeah, I can't. I don't think I can do that either because when I grip my paddles, I add a lot of tension to it so that it's relatively thin. So
Right.
it comes when I replace my grips, they're pretty stretched. So I
It's
don't think I
done,
could do
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Exactly. Like you can see where the grip overlap was. And so that person probably did it really loose. But speaking of over grips, I also wanted to point out the ones I've been testing out another brand because, you know, bread and butter, those are really good over grips. And we talk about Bodhi's over grips a lot. And then U Drippin, they make great over grips. But this company is called LUQI. I
Oh
believe that's
yeah.
how you pronounce it. LUQI's overgrips, and I really like them. They have a variety. We've just been talking about dry grips, comfort grips, and then tacky grips. And they've got like their varieties, not just colors, but tact and cushion. And I've really been enjoying their Tactician line in particular, which are closer to the Turn and Megatack as far as tack goes. Um, and but it has good cushion too, and so lots of good options out there right now. Promo code Matthew K works with all of those companies, and my suggestion is you get like some small packs. Like whenever you grip your paddles, try one brand, see what they're like, and figure it out. So I would suggest do small packs and just see where you're at. And I will also remind folks like the season changes. When the season changes, your overgrip might need a change depending because it depends how you sweat and all that. But something to keep in mind: what works for you in October might not be what works for you in July.
Dang, I wish I could change my grips seasonally. I literally change my grips weekly.
Yeah, well, no, but what I mean is if you think you
Yeah.
like your grips in October, that's your go-to grip. Know
Yeah.
that that might not be your go-to grip in July.
Okay,
But
okay.
and with the bread and butter though, they have the filth. I mean, not the filth, the wild thing that just
Mm-hmm.
came out. But
Yeah.
Wilson, did you know they have a special edition Shogun?
Yeah, I love that new colorway.
Yeah, the whole design's different. It's super pretty.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if they're going to be selling
I think that's the
this.
Imperial or something, right? I
Yeah,
think it's called.
Imperial Edition. And I don't know if
Yeah.
this is going to be sold. I don't know if this is a short term thing, but very
I hope
cool.
not.
Very cool paddle. Love the red edge guard. And so check this out. And yeah, Wilson is hit with, he's the elongated man, and he's hit with all of these. And so to summarize, Shogun is the most plush. Wild Thing sits between this and the
Hmm.
filth. Is that what you
Yeah.
said?
The filth is
And
still poppy, the poppiest to me.
would you say they all have comparable power from the baseline?
Um, I say the filth and the wild thing probably are comparable. The Shogun is definitely lacking, but the control in the
Got it.
dinking and dropping, it definitely the Shogun has all the other the filth and the wild thing beat
Yeah,
in
and
the
then of
touch.
course you can always add weight to the head
Yeah,
to juice the power and get the
yeah.
plush. It's hard to get the
Also,
plush.
super like random thing that this one actually comes a little lighter stock than the Shogun, surprisingly.
Oh,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
cool. Awesome. All right. Well, those are some of what we've been testing. But Wilson, you know what? I'm just gonna hand the mic over to you because I wanted you to walk me through. Uh, talk about the Hurache
Yeah.
Power Alpha, and then give us what in the world happened over at Vatic with the VCore. We'll talk about that a bit, and then I wanted to hear about the enhanced foam paddle you've been hitting with. So why
Yeah.
don't you kick us off with some 11.624 and
All right, all right. So, of course, everybody knows I I myself had a little debacle with this when I first got my 11.624 power because I was able to core crush it, I guess. And you know what? This one's actually holding up really well. This one, it broke in, but it has not crushed at all. No crushing. So I'm a happy camper. But I have been testing out the Alpha Pro version that just came out like a couple of weeks ago. This is supposed to be a softer 10 millimeter cell, honeycomb cell version of this. And I'm digging it. But it's not more of an improvement from the 11624 Power series. The Alpha Pro Power series is just more of I would say it's more like a lateral move. Like some people, if you don't have neither of these, it's like you want more of a softer feel, you'll get this. If you want more of a firmer, responsive feel, you'll want to get this. But even if I say this is soft and this is more responsive, it's I would say it's barely noticeable.
so the Alpha Pro Power, that's using the 10 millimeter cells, which typically, I know you've played a lot with the Mark paddle that also uses 10 millimeter cells. Usually, that the 10 millimeter cells hold on to the ball a little longer, a little bit more dwell. However, the Alpha Pro Power switched where it put the fiberglass, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Wilson, but instead of being in the middle like the other power version, it is now at the bottom. And
I
so
believe so, yeah.
lots of folks think that kind of cancels things out. From someone that's played with both paddles and knows one really really well, like what you're saying the differences are subtle. What would make someone want to choose the new version over the
Yeah.
old version?
I guess maybe I'm just used to the stiffness of the power, but honestly, once it breaks in, this one gets pretty soft as well. So interested. I probably had gotten like maybe 2 hours of play with this, and it's still, I think it's still in the break-in phase. I am curious to see how this feels like once it breaks in a little bit more. But basically, I would describe this as a broken in version of the power version without the break-in period, So
Oh,
it's already soft out of the box, basically.
well,
Um,
I mean, I think that's an upgrade just because it means, presuming it doesn't have a dramatic play difference after you put some more hours on it,
yeah,
that would mean you don't fall in love with a paddle out of the box and then it changes on you. So I could
yeah,
see that being an upgrade. And to be honest, I could see David over at 11624 having that mentality, like wanting some consistency, because
yeah,
he's even like waiting. He's not transitioning to foam. Like he's sticking with what he's doing. I've been told he's got another little experiment going on, but I don't believe it's foam. I think it's his own thing. But the fact that like he had like some very popular lines of paddles, had Kevlar last year and phases things out and tries to like, I think it's smart to like get to an evolution of your line that is consistent both in what the customer treats quality wise, but I think it would make sense to like have it play one way out of the box and play that way many sessions later. So Wilson, you got to
yeah,
start pulling that one out more. I saw
yeah.
you the other day pull out the OG. You're in
Hey,
love with the OG. Come
hey,
on, dude.
when times get tough, you have to fall back to what you're used to, right? But yeah,
Well, Wilson,
this
it didn't help us yesterday. You
it
pulling that one
it
out.
did a little bit. But it usually takes me about 5 to 6 hours to break in one of these powers. So this has about maybe 2 hours in on it. I'll try to give you guys an update after maybe this weekend or so.
All right, all right. And so I know we've been talking a lot. We broke the whole freaking recording studio. But folks, what the heck happened? Vatic, I hadn't gotten so many like messages about a release in like a minute. Some one of Wilson's friends wanted to order 10 for a club, and what we're talking about is Vatic's VCore series, their sub $100 foam line of paddles, but then it seems they had some issues. I guess reviewers were putting the paddles in easy bake ovens. I don't know, deep frying them, and all of a sudden their play characteristics change. Surprise, surprise, guys. No, I think the big story here is some paddles got left sitting in the sun, and they got dramatically more powerful, and then that once they cooled down, they played more like they did before. And obviously, that's not something you want to happen because, yeah, people would start baking them and doing whatever. And then, actually, it is a legitimate concern because out here in Los Angeles, at open play, you got to put your paddle on the rack. And you don't always get to determine where that is. If the sun's beating down on it, you got to walk on the challenge court. They got the freaking juiced paddle because it got a little UV. So I can definitely see. I appreciate that Vatic pump the brakes. According to Vatic, the factory did do a heat test, or was supposed to, but I guess it didn't happen the way it was supposed to, and so they're revamping it. I do have confirmation from the owner that they're gonna revamp it. A foam core sub $100 price point after promo code should be coming, and that was the big concern I saw a lot of folks have with these changes. Will it stay cheap? And their plan is to do that, and then tell us what it was like. The version I saw you play with it even yesterday. tell us what it's like, because apparently you can buy these discounted still from Vatic. I don't know
Hey,
if you have to like.
if
Or
you
I
can get
think
these
they're thinking
discount,
about. I
it,
think they're thinking about it. Yeah, I don't know if you can yet, but
and
describe to folks. Yeah,
I hope you tell everyone if you hear any news about discounted V cores, okay? Because I'm sure
yeah.
people,
Check the Instagram channel, folks. That's where that update will be. So go
yeah.
follow that. But what you played with it quite a bit. I haven't seen you stick with a paddle I gave you to test quite as much as I saw you with that one. So what's up with it? Why'd you like it so much?
Yeah, so first off, I give Vatic props for, standing behind the quality of their products. I mean, they could have just released this and said, deal with it, deal with the warranty if something happens,
Well, no,
But
I saw it just like with the what we saw with the old Yola paddle that came pre Core Crush. Like,
yeah,
folks don't care if it's bad. Like, if they
yeah,
can get an edge, I could totally see people buying those and literally like leaving them in their cars before they go to the tournament. So I think I appreciate Vatic
yes,
protecting us poor
consumers.
us
I don't know.
poor folks that can't get the paddle up fast enough to block those eyeball shots. So
Yeah.
I appreciate. But what did it play like? Because I know you weren't. I know yours didn't get heat exposure, so I
No,
imagine.
no. This one
Yeah,
was, I purposely made sure this one stayed in the bag and stuff until it's ready to go, or it would be in the shade. But yeah, this one, it is a very poppy paddle. I've tried your other shapes. I've tried the Bloom and the what is the other one
well, I
called?
think you've only tried the bloom. That's the only one I
Yeah,
brought
okay.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, the Bloom was a very poppy standard shape paddle, wide body paddle. So I mean, I think people would really like that. Um, but these I think the revamped version might be a little toned down, which may be a good thing. These are actually on the pretty poppy side. And actually pretty head heavy. So, fingers crossed they do something about that too. I don't
Yeah,
know. That
I think they were already planning to lighten them up. One thing I did notice though, because I'm sensitive to poppy paddles.
Mhm,
I do love the bloom shape. I talk
mhm.
a lot about it in my Saga video. Which, by the way, if you're looking for a good Vatic paddle, I think the Saga, people are sleeping on those. Like, just because it's not foam doesn't mean it's not great. I love that line, and the bloom shape in particular. But what I found interesting about these Vatic paddles, they didn't feel very gritty, but you could get some serious spin. They didn't feel
Yeah.
as gritty compared to some other. I think even the Saga series, but it was interesting. They were using a proprietary layup that I don't have all the information on, and so that poppiness goes back to that angle. I thought was manageable. So for someone that is kind of sensitive to high pop paddles.
Yeah, it's definitely no Honolulu grit, but yeah, I guess the dwell is pretty good. I felt like the dwell time is pretty good on this one. It wasn't too stiff or anything. And as far as I know, I think in general, so far I haven't tried that many, but more foam paddles they don't seem too as rigid as the other previous types of paddles. But I haven't tried that many yet, so
All right,
um,
folks. That is Wilson's opinion about
yeah.
foam. I have a little bit of a different view, but I could totally. I think probably you're in line with a lot of how a lot of folks describe the difference. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Well,
the Vatic. I'm excited to see what they how they revise it. That'll be very
Wilson,
interesting.
that one's you'll be waiting a while, I bet, or a little while. But I saw this. I finally got it back from you. Enhance, the folks that make the Dink Master Pro, which I got some discount codes for them down below. If you're looking for a way to practice your dinks and practice your speed ups, and you got space for that board, nothing beats it. My landlord made me get rid of mine. Still very sad about that. But the Dink Master Pro, like, Enhanced Pickleball was known for that, and then they had some other accessories. I really like their soft ninja balls. Uh, that might be a funny clip, but anyway, I really like their quiet balls for wall practice. But they made some paddles. They had some like they have a training paddle and then some paddles. But this is their first like super unique paddle, and this is their take on foam. And instead of doing holes into the paddle, they're doing little divots, not dissimilar from what the Vatic paddles are, how they approach the foam core. So what'd you think, Wilson? You hit a lot with this.
Yeah.
You hogged this. I haven't gotten to hit with this, and I got a video to make on this. So what did you think? Tell folks, give us a review.
Well,
Wilson, review this paddle right now. Come on, let's get it.
Well, as you can see, Enhance if I had one to hold. But yeah, it's a great paddle. It is much toned down than the V cores. It's very controllable. I'd say it's a poppier TruFoam Genesis. I'd say it's definitely poppier than the TruFoams. I think I like it. It's a nice in between. It's still very controllable. I know you haven't really hit with it, but I don't think you'll have any issues with launch angles or pop-ups or anything like that with that paddle. You probably definitely would with the V cores, but I think you'll like that one very much. It's much more forgiving. I think it's better for the general mass of players.
All right, folks. Did you guys hear that? I am the general mass of players. Thank you, Wilson, for that kind descriptor. Do you know, is that using? I don't believe it's using fiberglass. Is that right? Do you know? Did I tell you
I
that?
don't know the layup of the of the
Well, it
of
would
the
make
enhanced
sense
one.
if it didn't. I don't think it does, but if you know down below, let us know in the comments, and we'll talk more about this once I play with it. But
Hmm.
very solid review, Mr. Wilson. Thank you
Oh,
for
but
sharing that.
also one thing though, I do really enjoy that they have these locations on their edge guards where they tell you where you should or can place the weights. And I really
Yeah,
like that because before you would have to measure it, you want to try to keep it as perfect and even as possible. And sometimes the graphics on the face, they don't match up on both sides. So so it doesn't help. But with
yeah,
that, I think that's really cool. That's really creative. I really
yeah.
like that.
So they brought this design language from their Sweet Spot Pro or whatever they called their previous paddle, which was all about like having a paddle that was easy to customize. And even
Mhm.
if you don't actually use these exact positions, I'm with you 100%. Like you want your weights to be symmetrical.
Yeah.
And so just having these, they could have just done lines to be good
Mhm.
indicators, but this is good because I'm always getting questions, where should I put my weight? So I think this is a great little
Yeah.
cheat code to know where to put them. And then Wilson, you hit the Vatic V7 foam
Hmm.
paddle. You did the enhanced foam. I can't remember. Did you hit with body helixes already?
BodyHelix the flick, right? Yes, I
The new.
did.
Well, this is
And
the one that people are buying up left and
was
right.
sold out
As a
within the few
yeah,
hours.
as a power hitter yourself,
Yeah.
or as someone that's becoming a power hitter, what'd you think of this one?
That thing is very powerful. I think it would be difficult for the average pickleball player to control, especially during high pressure situations like in tournaments. But you know, if you can wield it, if you can handle it, I think it would be a really it's a game changer, definitely.
All right,
Yeah,
game changer,
I
folks. Did
think
you guys
so.
hear that?
Yeah.
Mr. Wilson has said the TerraCoreXC from BodyHelix is a game changer. I've had a few hits with this, and I did already weight it up using
Because that's how
BodyHelix's
poppy it is.
tungsten. Uh,
Or
it has it
your
has
pop-ups?
yeah, it has for us, for someone that's not, I'm not as worried about being dangerous on the court
Mm.
with the overpowered paddle. I'm worried about just keeping the balls down. And so that has helped. And so I don't know, I'm so behind on the foam paddles. I might have to just do a foam paddle roundup rather than an
You just need a
individual
whole video
review.
of just foam.
And then we're not done, folks. Mr. Wilson has a little sneak paddle to talk about that's also supposed to be a foam paddle. You want to show it to folks?
Yeah, so I've been along with my the V Core paddle. I've been using this. This actually looks very similar, right? Right? Color scheme, everything, orange and the black. But this is from Srikel. This is the
Is that
DuraFoam.
is that how you say it? I still don't know how to say it.
I don't know. Srikel?
Shriekel?
What
Shrikel?
were
Shriekel?
Srikel
S
sounds
R
better than
I.
Shrikle.
All right, Shriekel. All right, let's do it.
Uh, the DuraFoam. We'll call it the DuraFoam. No.
Durafoam, yeah.
Yeah, so this is great. I think if you can't get your hands on the BodyHelix's flick paddle, this is probably your next best bet. This is also on the powerful side, and I probably wouldn't be using. I wouldn't use the BodyHelix flick or this in a tournament. I think I would fail terribly under pressure with these. Um, they're just they are powerful. They are poppy. I definitely these are fun paddles, I would say. Um, but
The
yeah,
issue is the issue with these paddles. They have the USAP approval stamp, but
yeah.
to my knowledge, and let us know, check the USAP database, maybe it's been updated, but to my knowledge these paddles are not approved, and so they hit hard,
They do.
um, and they might not be tournament legal. But what is
Oh,
cool about Shrikle, well, how are we calling, what are we saying,
Circle? Yeah, sure.
Shrickle,
Circle.
they covered all the shapes. They have the old
Nice.
school hybrid with the wide flare that you'd see in the old Vatic flashes and the double black diamonds. This I love this shape, and there actually aren't a lot of paddles that have this specific shape. Um, they had that one. They have the more traditional. I think this is elongated with an arrow curve, and then they have one of my new favorite shapes. We were just
Ooh,
talking about this. This I probably first saw in the Vatic Bloom, but it's this shape. But I think,
that's a long handle for a
yeah.
wide body,
So
huh?
this is probably more of what we saw. Yeah, this is not the Bloom's configuration. This is closer to what we've seen Volair do with their recent
Hmm.
lineup with the crazy shapes. But the Durafoam got a shape for everybody. If you want to hit hard, if you want to play illegal, check them out. I think promo code Matthew K might work with them. But yeah, I know Wilson's been having fun with it. But you know, it's be careful out there.
Yes.
I think Tickle My Pickleball put out a PSA for himself about don't be around him when he's hitting with that thing because he hits hard with it. I
Yeah.
think he had to put it away. But yeah, if that gets USAP approved, I mean, they'll have the next Body Helix. Like everyone will
Hmm.
go
Yeah.
for that. I also think they're on the less expensive side. And then Wilson,
Hmm.
what the heck? How are we ever gonna? I know. Let's skip to. I know you wanted to talk about a local brand. We had so much to catch up on. I don't think we're gonna have. Maybe we'll do a speed bullet point. We've been delaying this section. I want to talk about what makes a good paddle reviewer, but we didn't have time last week. I think we're running close to the end of the time we have today. But if we record again, we won't be as backlogged. So,
Okay.
but you want to talk about that local company?
Yeah, I want to give a quick shout out to a local company here in the San Gabriel Valley. Um, they were called Konnek, Konnek.
How do you
They
spell it? How do you spell it, Wilson?
It's Konnnek. And their paddles, currently this one, the Elite, is USAP approved. This one is still pending. I just want to give them a quick shout out. They have some pretty awesome Gen 2 paddles. They're really unique too. So this one, their Prestige is actually they're both thermoform Gen 2 paddles. This one's face layup is T700 with some 3K carbon fiber layups, and this one is the Elite, which is a hybrid, elongate and hybrid, is a T700 carbon fiber paddle. But one unique aspect of this that I haven't actually seen in other paddle companies, is that these Gen 2 paddles don't have perimeter foam. So they are thermoformed, they're sealed, but there is no foam around the perimeter. And one thing I liked about that is that they're really light in your hand because there's just less mass up here above your hand. So if you want some good hand speed, you might want to try them out. Um, and it because there's no perimeter foam, the sweet spot is a little smaller than average. However, if you just add some tungsten, just a little bit on the sides, as opposed to a perimeter foam, which goes all the way around, where it's unnecessary or you may not want. If you just try it in different locations, you can widen the sweet spot super easily. Not a problem at all. Yeah, so they come with an elongated and a hybrid shape.
Yeah,
But one quick thing though, what's even better than one another thing that's they have are balls. These are their Connect balls. Um, I've been using them in conjunction with my X40s, my favorite balls, um, and they play very similarly. These are good alternatives to X40s if you can't get X40s on sale or anything. Um, the colors are very similar to the X40s. The only thing that I don't like, though, what I notice is that the seams are a little more pronounced than on the X40s or and on and in other balls. So you'll notice the seam a little bit, but um, they're not too bad for rec play or for drilling. I use them to drill, and they're great. They're great alternatives. Um, yeah, and I think Matt's gonna be getting an affiliate code or a
yeah.
promo
I
code.
think yeah. Wilson has been hitting with these paddles,
Yeah.
but he has not managed to get me any review units. So I am trying to get in touch with them to hit with them myself and see what I think.
I
Because
guess
to be
you'll have to just
honest,
borrow some of mine for now.
I just might. Because I actually do like lighter paddles.
They're
Um,
light.
that's one of the that's one of the advantages of like paddle techs. They're lighter, and so if you're someone that likes to customize paddles, tune them, but then you don't want a heavy static weight, that's something to look at. But I do believe either promo code Matthew K or Matthew K20 will work with this brand. And so yeah, give it a try. And then yeah, Wilson had told me about this thermoform paddle with no edge foam, and I'm actually familiar with that because a brand out in Canada called Aniviia, which actually had a bit of I don't know if notoriety is the right word. Some yeah notoriety for their pickleball bag because Pickleball Effect, who I'm sure has tried a million bags, just really loved their bag, which is a cool bag because it's a backpack, but it's also can be has a shoulder strap, which that is a unique combo if you want a gym bag or if you want a backpack. Because a lot of the tournament tour bags are strictly backpacks. But they're known for that. However, they have some paddles that are similarly constructed as what Wilson was describing, which is they've been thermoform sealed. So you've got that more rigid one-piece paddle that we've seen with Gen 2 paddles, but unlike most Gen 2 paddles, they don't insert that edge foam. So that typically means you do have a smaller sweet spot, but if you're hitting center, that's not a big deal. And the thing is, you get a lighter weight paddle. If you want to weight it up to be head heavy for power, you can do that. And so some people are sensitive to heavy paddles. And so if you want a thermoform paddle that has that feel, but on the lighter side, you really don't have a lot of options. And so the one Wilson just highlighted, Konnek, and then Aniviia, those are a couple options for you to check out.
Yeah, and if you used any of the Bodhi or Pickleball Effect tungsten tape, you can easily widen the sweet spots.
Exactly. And then, all right, folks, if you've stuck around this long, you're due for an exit. But before we move on to the tip of the week, I did want to just highlight the section we keep skipping. It's like Matt Damon on the Jimmy Kimmel show. It's just like we keep saying it's going to happen and they never make the cut. But I want to talk about on a podcast what makes a good pickleball gear reviewer. Like what qualities, what kind of content. And so that's something we're going to be discussing. And if you guys have some thoughts on that topic that you want Wilson and me to ponder, leave it down in the comments. But you know what, Wilson? I had this little bit prepared. You know what? It seems to be a requirement these days to be a pickleball gear reviewer. A freaking MelinHat. You got to have a MelinHat. But you know what? MelinHats are expensive. They're pricey. And so I've been looking at MelinHat alternatives, and I think I might have finally found a brand that might live up to the Melin acclaim, and that is this new brand I just found. It's called RatherBeClub. RatherBe, like you'd rather be at the beach, you'd rather be playing pickleball, and they have set me up with a promo code 15% off for their gear. They've got, I think, some hats that I'm going to test out. I think they could be Melin competitors, including some more relaxed styles. This is from them as well. And they also have the little sun hoods that you can attach to hats for people that don't want to get sunburned. And so maybe that's all that you need to be a good reviewer is a Melin or a Melin knockoff. I don't know. You got to have a good head on your shoulders to review paddles, and you got to have a good hat. Maybe that's all you need. Maybe we can skip this segment altogether. But folks, if you think there's more to being a reviewer, let us know down in the comments, because that's a topic I want to talk about. But before we wrap up today, we've got the tip of the week. It's presented by BodhiPickleball. We've been talking about paddles and overgrips and gear and tungsten, and if you need any accessories for your pickleball game, check out BodhiPickleball. I don't know, did you want to talk real quick about one piece of gear from Bodhi?
Yeah, I really appreciate that Bodhi actually sent me their pro bag. Look, it's so big that I can barely even put it in the screen. It's super awesome. It's super roomy. It is very big. I'm excited to use it, give it a try. Prior to testing out this bag, I had the ADV bag, which I still use. Also can't fit in the screen. As you can see, I really like big bags because I carry everything to the park, even the kitchen sink, right? Um, and now, and as a paddle reviewer now, or at least I'm trying to help Matt out doing this, um, I carry more, so many paddles. But I do appreciate it. Thank you, Bodhi, for sending me a bag to carry all my stuff in. But yeah, so the tip of the week.
All right,
Uh,
Wilson, you
yeah,
test that out, though. I'm going to expect a lot of feedback. I want to know how many paddles you can fit in it. I want to
yeah,
know how big the kitchen sink is. I want to know how the weight distribution is. So we'll talk
definitely.
about that. And yeah, but now make us play better pickleball. You got us to the court. You lugged everything over there with your giant bags. How do we get better?
All right. So this tip of the week, this week's tip of the week is a little more of a mental strengthening tip as opposed to a more physical tip of the week. And it's basically when you're under pressure. People, you hear the saying, "Oh, you'll rise to the occasion." I really disagree with that saying. Most people won't actually rise to the occasion, to be honest. And I believe that people don't rise to the occasion. I've heard this one saying where you don't rise to the occasion, you fall down, you lean on your training. So what I would say to people is that when you're practicing, when you're drilling, even when you're playing rec games against people who may be slightly lower level than you, play as if you're in a tournament. You don't have to bang it at them. You don't have to do anything crazy at them. But put yourself in a pressure situation. When you're drilling, don't just stand there and ding. Pretend it's an actual point. Play as if you're in the tournament. Play in the situation that you want to be in, and get used to it. Like I think Ben Johns had an interview where he said something like, you know, uh, most people drill until they get it right, but the pros drill until they can't get it wrong. And I mean, that was like a light bulb moment for me. So every time I drill so that even when I'm not thinking about it, my body will know what to do, how to hit a ball. I won't be out of place. You want to drill until you can't get it wrong.
Yeah.
Are you typing that
Awesome.
out? Are you gonna are you gonna make a banner and put it in your bedroom?
I am. Listen, all of your tips, I do that, but I think what you're talking about is being present and
Being
being in the
present, yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
And so instead of thinking about what you need to do, you have drilled in practice. It's muscle
Second
memory,
nature. Muscle
second
memory,
nature.
second nature. Yeah.
And one thing, this is applicable, and I like to look at all pickleball tips as life tips. And
There
this
we
is
go.
actually something I've been wanting to talk about on the podcast, and we're going to do a deeper dive on another day. But what you're actually talking about is mindfulness. I know
There
that
you go.
sounds hippie and whatnot, but really, there is a whole book called The Inner Game of Tennis, which
Ooh.
really digs into what you're talking about, which is letting go of your mental chatter, letting go of your thinking mind, and really just being present and letting yourself exist and be at play and all the things that you're talking about, which if you've done the work, you can let go and be present in the moment of like striking the ball or doing whatever. And really, one thing beyond drilling that will help you get in that mindset, definitely check out that book. It's pretty, there's not like, it's written for tennis, but it's super applicable to pickleball. But a lot of it is about mindfulness and getting out of your own way. And so I think what you're talking about, like at open play, like taking it seriously, I think it's like just being present. And one of the things that gets in the way of a lot of pickleball players that are taking it seriously is and we've talked about this, is they it's related to what you're talking about, is they get stuck on whatever error they made. They missed a
Yeah.
serve and they're
Hmm.
thinking about that on the next thing. And so you need to be present in what you're doing. And that also takes practice beyond
Yes.
the drilling, but being able to let go of things mentally, being present in the moment that you're existing in
Hmm.
right now. And that book will help you learn a lot, but also I don't know if I have a pretty serious meditation practice. One that I have gotten a little bit, I've let it get away from me a little bit. But I am someone that has a bit of a monkey brain. And so I was going to throw out, if anyone's interested in learning more about meditation, you really just need to dive in. a really easy, the easiest probably way to do it is to get an app that walks you through guided meditation. The one that's really easy and user friendly is called Calm. I think they do free trials. And then if you want to go a little bit, if you want to go a little bit deeper, an app called Headspace is very good. And then really, if you want to take it seriously, and this might be the way that you want to start, because I actually think their program is free now, an app called Healthy Minds. Headspace, a lot of companies actually provide for free. So if you got an employer, check your benefits page. But Healthy Minds used to be like a paid one, but I think they might be a nonprofit now. But that one is basically lesson oriented. So it will take you on a journey of learning mindfulness. But it doesn't have, like, Calm is really the one, like, is like the calendar page one where, you know, they'll have something for each day. It's super easy to just jump in and use, but it does cost money. Headspace is kind of between Healthy Minds and Calm. And then Healthy Minds, if you want to like really get into it, they really have a structured program. And so maybe look at those things as well. And then check out that book, The Inner Game of Tennis. Like, I've never heard someone that's read that and not taken a ton from it. And so, yeah. All right, BodhiPickleball. I hope you make a mindfulness app that we can talk about soon. Otherwise, Tungsten and Overgrips and bags. Awesome, Wilson. I think, hey, if we're bringing mindfulness to the masses, we're doing a good job here.
Yep.
But all right, folks. Well, that will do it for today's episode, I believe number 16 of Is This a Pickleball Podcast? A few reminders. We got a link down in the description. Our friend Dwayne has a GoFundMe. He recently had a pretty serious spinal injury, and he's trying to pay some of those bills. So if you have some money that you can throw his way, check that link out. And then if you want a free paddle, check out my Honolulu Next Gen paddle. Check out that Honolulu J4K paddle. Be on the lookout if it's not out for my PaddleTekGTOC review and my Carbon TruFoam Genesis 4. All those videos have giveaways. And then my Vatic Saga breakdown video, where I claim that might be the top line of this year. We're giving away a Dinkaroo over there. So definitely check those videos out. Be sure to like this video. Leave us a comment, say something nice. We love reading nice things. And be sure to subscribe. That helps the channel out. But more than anything, I believe Wilson hopes you get to pickle soon. Is that right, Wilson? I hope you get to pickle soon.
Yeah.
But most importantly, just don't forget, it's about having fun.